All right, there we go. Hello everyone, how's it going? Team here, and this is our regular Wednesday stream. So as usual, today we're going to be doing the BxJS proposals, and today's one. So the top one from yesterday, as I said, I'm going to be picking the one that is highest voted on Tuesdays now. And the highest voted was the using Golang libs from Node.js for fun and profit, the one that came out from the Discord discussion we had at our Discord server. Hey Strex, how's it going? Right, so basically the idea is that you can use Golang to speed up the bits of Node.js that are slow for you, like some CPU-bound operations, for example, or something that requires intensive work, right? And some time ago, Golang was kind of a pain in the ass to use in terms of shared libraries, but since then they improved it, and I think you can now basically build a shared library very easily for just about any platform. Since Golang allows cross-compilation, it's really easy to build it for Linux, Windows, and macOS. And that's what I tried like a couple of weeks ago for one of the projects we have internally, and found out that it's really easy right now. And some of you guys were interested. So this is what we're going to be doing now. I have two projects in mind. So there is Black Friday and there's Blev or Believe, or I'm not sure how to read that. So Black Friday is a markdown processor written in Golang. It's a very simple example, but it's basically going to be illustrative enough, I guess, for us to, or for you guys to figure out how this works. And then, it's not exactly complicated to build. So it's literally like one string input, one string output, and then maybe some options if we have enough time. Maybe not, maybe just like string input, string output. We'll see how that goes. And then the Blev thing, or let's just call it Blev for now. Gonna leave it at that. So this is the text formatting, text indexing. It's basically an engine that allows you to index any text structure or data structure, including JSON, by the way, which is really cool, and then do a search over it, which might be a bit more complicated to actually build, because we would need to assemble the index, right, and then only write a query. So we can probably write one method, which would be simple query or something like this. But yeah, so we could have a look at that. Or I don't know, do you guys have any suggestions? What do you want to see? Do you want to see like super simple stuff with markdown, or do you want to see more complex stuff with indexes? So this would suggest that, again, maybe we would have multiple methods, because we would need to first build an index, then index stuff, and then query that stuff, right? So that might be a bit tricky. I'm not sure if we can fit it in the one stream. So chat, what do you think? What do you want to see? Any suggestions? Because if you don't have any suggestions, I'm going to go with the easier version of Markdown, because that literally doesn't require too much effort, right? Because you just pass in a string, you convert it to HTML, and you return it from the Golang, which is like super easy. And our whole Golang example will be this basically, right? So yeah, okay, maybe not even that, because we can just return the unsafe HTML and then maybe have another method that returns safe HTML. That may be it. All right. Looks like nobody in chat has any preferences over that. So let's go with Black Friday, right? We're going to be using Markdown. Obviously, there are really good Markdown processors in Node.js itself, but we're doing it for the heck of it. So obviously, you can do any complex libraries as well. For example, there was this Kyre, yeah. That was a really cool one. I thought it may be nice to convert that to a Node library. So this is a content-aware image resize library. Basically allows you to squish the images without deforming the main objects, which works really well and pretty fast. So, but doing this would basically require to work with buffers, both in, working with buffers in Golang is not very tricky, but converting the buffers from Golang to C++ and then back to Node.js assumes that I know C++ very well, and I don't really do that. So, that's a bit too complicated for me basically at the moment. So, and I would spend definitely more than one evening or one live stream doing that. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to do a simple example. And then from there on, if you want, you can do any of that. So let us create a folder. Let's call it node. What's the project name? Black Friday, right? Black Friday. And I am gonna fire up the code here, obviously. So if you didn't know, the VS Code does support Golang pretty well. So there's this, there is a Go extension, which is called literally Go, and it's really, really good. So I have that installed just for the Go support. Gonna git init that, we're gonna npm init -y this stuff as well, and we are going to start by building the Go part. So let's see. Let's call it markdown.go. So again, this is slightly different from what I typically do because I usually stream JavaScript, right? In this case, that's kind of on a mix of JavaScript, C++, and Golang. So it's going to be a bit tricky if you don't know C++ and Golang. But once again, Golang is a very straightforward language. It's very easy to learn. And if you don't yet have any low-level language in your arsenal, then Go would be a really perfect pick. And yeah, so we are going to first write Go. So first of all, we're going to install the library. So Go has integrated dependency, I wouldn't call it dependency management really, but basically you can fetch packages using the go get function. And then we're just going to copy the example. So they have this here, for example, right? And we got the Black Friday. We don't really care. So it's going to be results. And let's just do func main. Hell if I remember how to write Go myself, actually. Print, what was it? Print? Or is it println? I don't actually remember. What are you not liking? Undefined input. Yes, right. Okay. Let's say input is hello world, right? So right, it should be assignment, and you can use input type string and byte arguments. Why do you need bytes? Oh, markdown. Okay, they have a basic markdown input for most sensible is byte slice and scaling. So I guess we don't really. Again, we can just use markdown common, right? So we don't really need the undefined markdown. Oh, that's version 1. So I guess we have to convert it. Do they have any examples here? So we have to convert the data to byte slice, which is, I mean, whatever. You know, you typically run markdown on strings, but we can convert it to markdown as well, to the byte slice as well. But how do they do it here? Run markdown. So where's the run markdown thing? String, markdown common, byte. So you just wrap it in by. Okay, that's straightforward. We can do that. There you go. Okay, so go run, I believe it was. Whoops, that's too many. And that's, I guess it returns the byte array as well. Is that actual expected tests? So what is this tests array? I guess they have some other thing here. Ah, there you go. No, it is a string array, right? Okay, run markdown, or does it? Oh, it's also converted to string. Okay, so yes, this res thing is also res byte array, and it means res string. I'm not sure why you would need to do that. I guess that's for speed games, right? String, and this we want to do that, and hey, there you go. Okay, it works. So we got our very basic function. Obviously, the main function won't really do it for us here, right? Because we are gonna write a library. So first of all, we can actually simplify that import because we want to import one package here. Second of all, we are now gonna write a function called markdown, right? It's gonna have input, which is gonna be a string value, and then we're gonna return a res string, and it's gonna have output that is also a string, right? Yeah, okay, so and now theoretically, if I do this and markdown input, if we run it again, we should see the same output. Perfect. So we need to leave this. So now, okay, now we've written this thing. And in case you are not familiar with Go at all, this markdown, so I wrote it from the capital letter because this is an exported function now. This is how Golang defines export in the packages. You don't write any special keywords, you just write a function or variable name from the capital letter, right? That's considered to be export. going to say export markdown, and we are going to turn it into a C library. So I'm going to say import C. That's actually all you need to do to convert Golang code into C code. And once you do go build, I think, yeah, so we need the build mode C shared. So this is going to compile the shared library. And I'm going to build the, whatever, how did I call it again? Markdown Go, right? Markdown Go. There you go. So now we have additional files. So we have the markdown file, which is the shared library for our platform. Here specifically, there's going to be a dylib, which is a macOS format. And we have our C header file that contains all the information about our functions. In this case, this is literally only the markdown, right? Which takes the Go string, which I think internally mapped to just a normal C string. So where is it? Go string, come on, go string. There you go. Okay, so it's just an array of chars. Yeah, there you go. It's pretty straightforward. Now that we have this, we actually need to go to Node.js docs and native modules. So if you are never written any native modules or haven't done anything like this, they are called C++ add-ons indeed. There is a really good documentation on the Node.js website, so you can just start with that and go with this basically because it's a really good introduction to it. So right, we are gonna create our so first of all, you know what, let's do git ignore markdown and git ignore markdown h because those files are generated, so we don't want to commit them. And now we need to do, I guess, let's okay, you know what? I'm gonna first create a make file, and I'm gonna call it builds. Let's call compile go, right? So compile go will run the go builds markdown go, and maybe I'll also structure it slightly differently because this is a bit of a mess, right? So we don't want that. Golang, and I'm gonna move markdown go into source Golang. And we're going to remove markdown h. So, and then we're going to build source Golang like this, make, right? That should build, but there will be now, no, okay, they're still here, which is good. Okay, so we did this. Now we need our C sources, right? So we're going to call it, what is it? Black Friday C. CPP, I think it is. Oh, CC. Okay. I am, as I said, I am not very proficient with C++. I think last time I written it was like 15 years ago, like seriously written it, like hardcore stuff like compilers and interpreters and all that stuff. We did the course in university. After that, I barely touched it. I did some small modules or basically bindings from Go to Node.js, but that's about all my knowledge of C++. Hey, Wise, how's it going? Okay, so we created our thing. So I think I'm gonna just copy the default code here. This is the default init code that we have, right? So we have a namespace demo. In this case, we are gonna call it namespace Black Friday. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think namespace is really important here, but we're gonna leave the default example in place. Then we have our method, which actually does something, right? And we actually can compile this, and it will, here you can see we set the export hello function that when you call it, creates a new string that returns world. So if you call a hello method, you get world back, right? So it's a very straightforward one. Let us indeed do this compilation. And we need this bindings-gyp file as well. The question is, do I need to create it in a parent, or do I need to create it in, I guess let's try here. Yeah, it's not Python file, stop it. And that should be source Black Friday CC. Thank you very much, sort of. Okay, we need the node-gyp, which is, I think, installed. And then we need our JS file, which will basically execute stuff, right? So in this case, I'm going to create index, I guess let's call it index.js, why not? So yeah, it is going to be build release addon and addon hello world, so that should be good. And then yeah, we can do the we can do this. So we can make it a bit more complicated. Basically what that does is not return, let's say addon require. So this is going to be our main module. Let's say module exports addon, right? I guess we could have just shortened that stuff to this, right? There we go. That should be sufficient. So basically what it does is it looks for release version. If it's not there, it's going to require the debug version, right? Okay, and then we have our index.js here, which will module, or let's call it Black Friday, require source. So we require our module that we just created, and then we can do console log Black Friday just to see, you know, that actually does what we're supposed to do. Okay, we got the bindings. We need the package JSON here, and we need to. We don't care about all that stuff now. We don't need np now. We need, first of all, we need to say build, right? And we need to say node-gyp configure build. So we can do yarn build here. Theoretically, that should work because we're not touching the Go part yet, so it should not fail for anything. And since we're not using any 15 years ago, yes, I did miss C++ 11. I honestly have no idea what kind of stuff is in there. I heard good things about it, and it's way better than like C++. But we, I think the IDE we used was the Golang and C. You know, that's. Wait a second. Wait, let me try. I don't know if you guys even know about that thing. Golang and C, yeah, this is exactly what we had. This is how it looked on our, like, basically this is what we used to program C++ in the university, like on our, I think it was in the first year or something. That was insane. And like, it's just, it's quite an experience. Come on, why is it taking so much? I think it's, oh, it requires node. Okay, node-gyp was not installed. I guess npm install -" save dev node-gyp. That is weird. I thought I had it globally installed, but I guess not. Yarn build. There we go. Okay, so it compiled it, and okay, so now you have this build folder, which we actually get ignore. So we need to ignore build, and we need to ignore node modules. And here you have the release folder, which includes the addon node, and there is, I think, okay, just build the release one, but sometimes basically depending on the environment you set, you will get the debug version as well. So theoretically, if we run node index.js, we should see the hello function, which we exported, and if we run hello here, we should see hello world. Perfect. So that is very basic version, and it works, right? So now comes the interesting part. We actually should change this method to use our Golang thing, right? And maybe we change the makefile a bit to actually use the Golang folder, and we do it like this so that those all those files generated by Go are actually generated inside of that folder, so we don't have to do like stupid relative path. Okay, we compile that, so theoretically they should be here. Good. Okay, and now which means here we can say include Golang markdown h, right? So theoretically that should work, which means that in this case we load the, what is it called, markdown function, which takes in a string. Okay, so and then we have to look here again, because hell if I remember how to get the arguments. Okay, so you get this args thing, we get it here. So we need to take the first argument, right? Which will be, we don't need double, we need string. So I guess I just say string value, is it from, I mean, I guess, can we just do a value? Okay. String value, I believe it is like this, but hell if I remember all of that. Okay, string results is going to be markdown value, and string new from UTF-8, yes, it's going to be result. So we convert that string It is probably gonna fail terribly right now when I try to build it because I forget something, but let's try that. So, okay, yeah, it is fails, and it fails because, first of all, okay, cannot call function markdown, right, because I forgot to include the library. So we built the library here, right? We built this markdown file, but we did not include it to compile target. So basically it won't be linked, and the C won't know where the hell does the function come from. Wait a second. How do I? Oh my God! Come on, you have to have examples here, right? Libraries. Blah blah blah. No, this is okay. Node-gyp library. So there's basically a way to statically link it. Thing there is libraries. Okay, is it? Aha. So you pass in libraries and you give in your file. I think it should be on this level. And in this case, this is gonna be source Golang markdown. So now we should have less errors. So at least markdown should be found now. Candidate function not viable for v8 string to go string. Okay. No function. Oh, okay, so it didn't. Why? What do I have to say? Okay, wait a second. Go build shared library. Did I forgot again some flags? C++ string is imported from the library. I mean, I don't think we actually need a C++ string in this case, but let me just see. Maybe I forgot to. Okay, so just C shared. I mean, let's try to specify maybe the output. Say it's going to be markdown dylib. Right, so this is obviously, I mean, I guess we can just call it markdown so, right? Because it's just gonna be this. And the question is, it might be that we need to give the full path to it. Is that the problem? Let's see, yarn builds. Let me just expand this a bit. So does it actually finds, let's see, where is it? Library, shared library, common gyp. Actually seem to use it. Did I put it in the wrong place? Other dependency. So targets, sources includes tier libraries, and that is okay. So it's just that theoretically should work, right? Yeah. You can libraries minus v minus l library a. This should work. Minus l pass minus. Okay, we don't need to link it, right? It should be, could be, or maybe we do need, see, this way. So no matching for markdown. Okay, that is slightly being declared here. Let me see, blah, 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 go output here. Doesn't even seem to call it here in the build, which is weird. Okay, am I screwing something up? No, that looks, we got targets, right? We got target name, we got sources, we got libraries, and then libraries is just an array of stuff. Okay. Yeah, it is marked down. Oh, I forgot to compile it because it is marked down so, and case we say ignore. So let's remove that Golang markdown. This, right? Okay. One thing we might want to do, so I'm not sure. Wait a second. No matching function call. Oh, right. It might be complaining there's no matching function call because of the types we use, right? It uses the goString one. So first of all, right. Okay, this is the problem. Now the function is found, so everything works, and I'm just an idiot. Okay. Next thing, we need to actually Golang C. There is CGo reference, so we can use the C version of strings and then convert it to Go. I think it is C string. Yes, there you go. I believe it's C string, or is it? I think it is C string, right? So we can just say, okay, from rest string, and then. Okay, so then we first need to convert the input, let's call it input string. Say input equals string put, right? And then we convert that. So theoretically, is it not CC string? Expression CC string use this type. Come on, is it C char? I think it is C char star. Oh man, on. Okay. No variables on the left side. Oh, right. Here we go. What do you not like anymore? Undefined string, that should be lower. Yes, there you go. And you don't like what? There is a C function to do that, right? C go string, yes, of course. Doing wrong things here. There you go. Okay, so theoretically, if we make it now, we should get the new version. That compiles, yarn builds. So we now need to use, yeah, obviously, so the v8 string, I guess. So now we need to tweak our C++ file and see how do you they use. So this is the string that is used for v8 returns. Now, do they use any strings here actually? Would be very helpful if I could just copy paste that stuff. So we got that. We got, okay, this is object. Come on. Templates, no, that's not what I want. Local value, local context, local function. This is all locals. I mean, I guess, let me think. Object node wrapper, this is not what I want as well. So is undefined number value. Okay, let's see. Come on. No, okay, not here at least. Right, so we did that part. So let's see. Node addons string arguments. That's, I feel really dumb when I do stuff like this because, you know, obviously C++ is something I touch very rarely. But okay, we don't really need none here, right? This is like for compatibility. We don't really use anything there. String u. So that is, that feels like namespace. Oh, okay, so it is, no, this is the return value. Okay, it's not what we want. How to pass a string parameter to C++? Yes, this sounds like a correct question. Is string toString? Okay, so first of all, toString. Okay, and then string UTF-8. That is, there you go. So you can just cast it to. Okay, good. We do that, and this is our stir, and then we have const char star value, which is, I believe, oh, I guess we can just pass it like this, right? So we don't really need that. Yeah, so we cast it to const char pointer, and then how do you convert back from that? That is the question. Print, yeah, okay, you can print. I don't want to print it. How do I return it? So this is, I guess, gonna be const char. I guess this method probably can work the same way, right? Yarn build. Okay, so arguments local v8 string to UTF-8 string. I guess we can use local v8 string here as well, right? Because, oh yeah, right, because this was probably non-example. Yeah, of course. And this is, we are using the native stuff. Okay, so const char would, this is just star, so we don't need const here. Add what we want, right? Okay, so this is what we want. Almost there. No such file or directory source Golang markdown SO. Okay, so the question is, where does it look it from? I mean, one option would be to move it from here, here. And then I believe we can just say that it is markdown SO, which will be in this folder. Is it relative or will it look in the source folder? Okay, now here's the question. So if I move it to source folder, yarn build. Nope. Does it need the full path, which would make it a bit weird? Blah blah blah. User black node-gyp. Where do you look for it? current work there. So you look here, yeah. So it would be, whoops, closed a bit too much. Golang, so theoretically, it should be in the source, right? Whoops. Source, markdown, source, Golang, eco. Okay, yarn build. Why don't you current work here is no Black Friday, and there is source Golang markdown SO, right? So we have it there. There it is. Binary file, it won't show it to us, which is completely correct. Okay, does it need a dylib name because it's a Mac OS? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mac OS has this problem. Source Golang dylib. Let's try that. Like, macOS compilers sometimes do very strange things that I want. Yarn, oh, come on, build. No, okay, not found either. Why is it not found actually? No such file. Okay, I am slightly confused right now, but it is there. Okay, let's see. Golang markdown dylib here. So this should work for sure, right? Wait, am I using the correct name? Am I not messing anything up? Markdown dylib. Markdown dy, yes, that seems to be exact same. Oh, yarn build, please. No such file or directory. Is it because of the whole structure? Can it be that because of the headers as well? That, and if we move this here, here's the question. Does it all need to be in one folder? Is that the problem? If I just do this, no, that still doesn't help. Why? No such file or directory. Clang. So Clang doesn't find. Okay, that seems like a very macOS specific issue. Yeah, that seems like not what I want. Code, no such file directory, TensorFlow. Yeah, so as you might have noticed, macOS has some problems with C compilation. There is like Xcode generally being an ass and, you know, stuff like this. Why do you not? Okay, you know what? Maybe if we, here's what I'm just gonna try it. So I'm gonna move that. It's gonna rename Black Friday. Yes. Just gonna, for the sake of it, just to try it, I'm gonna move all of that to the root folder. Then if that stuff works, I'm gonna know that macOS is not very good with C compilers. So first of all, let's tweak that stuff. Gonna be source go, right? We are gonna have, this is gonna be this. This is gonna be this. Okay, this is gonna be this. And oh, it might have been because of the header file. And that's still not markdown dylib, correct? Got that. Can it be, wait a second. What does this header looks like? Can it be that this header describes something different? Okay, you know what? Let's kill the header, kill the dylib, unmake. Got the SO. Okay, so now we have the SO. Let's try renaming this to SO. So why? Oops, yarn build. Why can't you find it? No such file or directory in the, I mean, we are in this dir, right? There is this file. What do you not like? Okay, let's see. Node addons, no such file. Story. Library. Able to link shared library. Yes, this is exactly what happens. Library dirs, link settings. That seems, that is a very complicated setup. So libraries minus L. So you need to give the full pass. Is that how it works? Okay, I mean, let's try. I'm now curious. So if you give it a full path, that work? Arm build. It just wants the complete path to library. It actually works. Okay, so it assumes, how the hell do you deploy something like this? Means that each collaborator has to modify the paths, which seems a bit weird. Home user. Yes. Okay, that's weird. Okay, you know what? Let's leave it at that for now. Now the question is, so cannot find module src, of course, because I renamed it. Okay, I guess we can actually roll back this structure because that does work, and I'm an idiot. Should have tried that first. I'm gonna suffer moving everything back, but hey, my own fault. Source Golang markdown. Okay, did that. We need this Black Friday here. Name this to X, right? Good. We move that here. It's gonna be like this. That seems to be it, right? So we remake yarn build. Okay, what do you not like again? No such input. Black Friday CC. Where? Oh, right. Because I screwed up this bit, so it's going to be src. Yes, but relative path in source works, but in libraries doesn't. That is very strange. Okay, we're gonna take a second after that and try to figure this out once we finish the module itself, because I mean we're pretty much done here. So once all of this compiles and works, oh right, I forgot to rename the function, but you know what, we can do that. So console log hello world, right? So theoretically, if I run that, we should get the h1. I mean, it's yeah, that seems to be working. Something is not, I guess some of those casts are not working out. So the question is, do we need that pointer there? I'm guessing that we actually don't. And then the next thing is we want to call our method markdown, right? Okay, that that did not quite work. Yarn builds and what? Local. Okay, so we need how to convert the local string to pointer char type. Yes, thank you very much. This is exactly what I need. Const string utf value, char string. Okay, I mean, I guess we can just use this code, right? So it's a function that seems to be working, and we can take this. These strings from string, right? And then we pass in this string here. Okay, const char, yeah, that seems to be good. Yarn build. Am I screwing things up again? I think we're not using const char, right? We're just using char star. Okay. Calling need a seagull again. There should be a const char pointer as well here somewhere. At the char we got a const. No, there is no const char. Okay. So okay, how do you cast a const char star to char star? So the char pointer, right? Converting const star to char. God, that just breaks my tongue. Okay, we got this char con line. We'll do this, right? Question is how to convert back from it after that. That is a lot of convertation going on. Char conv. Okay, that is slightly confusing. So we get, this is the const char star we have, right? So this should be our sister. And what is this const char thing? No, let's stop doing that. That seems to be a C++ function that I am unaware of. I guess, maybe. And then the result is char star, and that's probably should work. Hey, hold the door. Yeah, I've played Factorio and it's pretty great, but I feel like, you know, short streams won't really do for it because it's crazy, insane game. Enable local. Did I pass in the wrong thing again? Local v8 string. Yeah, okay, so that should be this, right? You don't like string conversion failed. Incompatible operand types. Okay. Wait a second. I feel like no. First of all, local string. Yeah, so this is what we use, right? Local v8 string. Yeah, exactly. Then we get this string UTF-8. So, oh, okay, just cast this argument. Okay. So I'm just doing the whole thing wrong. So here's we do this. We get the string. We convert it to C string. Then we convert it to char pointer. And then we pass it. We get the char pointer result back. Okay. No matching call function to markdown. Oh, shut up. Const char, but no, I'm not passing const char, right? Oh, right, I am passing const char. I should be passing this line char string. Let's call it like this. This is terrible naming. And okay, now it compiles index node.js. It works. There you go. Okay, so I feel like this is actually mostly where I spent majority of my time building those modules, actually figuring out how C++ works, because I never worked with it, and how you convert from the local v8 string type to char pointer, which is required for like C++ and Golang functions, and then how you convert all of that back. But once you set up this boilerplate, then basically everything just works as you expect it to, right? Okay, let me think. We did that. Now the question is, so people in the chat saying I should try putting -l over here. We can try doing that. So yarn builds, but I don't know, will that help? So no, it's still, you know, still says that library is not found. So okay, node-gyp library not found. Absolute path maybe. Okay, I can kill all of that. I can kill all of that. How do I dependency static library node-gyp using and bind, also using absolute path. Like sources. Oh, maybe we need to do this. Include deers. And I don't know, does that work actually? And just say that include this folder. Will that work? No, that won't work. Okay, that is a bit disappointing. Let's see, sources, blah blah blah. Workaround: you can symlink external directory to project directory. That I'll do that. Okay, let's see, blah 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 blah. Additions includes libraries -l. Okay, so yeah, I mean this one is relative, right? Library section. This uses absolute path as well. Depth is kind of no such file. Yeah, there you go. There's the same guy with the same problem. And minus r. Okay, let's try that. Like this. Hey, okay, there you go. So it's some magic C++ compiler flags. That is now relative path. That works perfectly fine. Okay, so we can say default is going to be build, right? And then build is going to be compile go. And then we're going to say yarn build. or I guess npm run build would be better because not everyone has yarn installed. So once we do make, it should compile the Golang, then it should run the add-ons, and then we got our thing. So actually when we release, we don't want to ignore that bit, right? It should be ignore builds, but not ignore builds. I believe this is how you write it, right? Release is, no, am I? Okay. It ignore folder, but not subfolders, I believe that was possible. Git ignore, exclude folders, but include specific subfolder. You not applicate, yeah, so that should work. What do you not? You can blah blah blah, application star, and then application language. That's okay, there you go. Okay, do we need this depth stuff? Is that important? Seems like no, that seems like this is not important as well, right? So we're only interested in the addon node file, actually. Addon node, right? Because everything else, what? Okay, I can do that. Dot depths and target. Obviously, what we did here now will only work for the system you build it on. So in this case, I built a shared library for macOS. So this code would only work on macOS, but since Go damn it, since Go supports cross compilation, we can actually cross compile libraries for other platforms. So basically you just say this, and okay, in this case we already compiled for Darwin, so we can, I believe we can just do like Linux file go, right? And that will replace the library unknown build ID none. Thinker, okay, I guess I'm missing something to properly build it for Linux. That might be the problem. But I mean, in theory, if you have like, if we use Docker image, for example, that has the Go that has everything ready for building, we could cross compile it for all the platforms and have the release folder contain versions for all the 3 platforms, right? So we don't like, we will have the cross platform node package that would actually utilize the Go code. Let's try that again. So that I removed that. That should now work. Yep. Node index should also work. What? That just broke everything. Okay, what the hell? Yes, and symbol not found in Markdown. Easy symbol binding for what? Sorry, what? Yeah, there is our Markdown, right? And our Black Friday CC. Oh, I guess, is it because the linking failed now because of this stuff? So wait a second, let me just verify that. So I guess we didn't really solve that, right? Whoops. That's not off. Yarn built. Node index. Oh yeah, so that is not how you do that. Come on, minus VL minus R path. This can work. If the shared object is called libfoo, so minus L is only necessary with not a standard location. Otherwise, you pass minus there pass in ACE, but it is in standard location. Does it consider the current folder standard location? Maybe that doesn't want minus SO thing. Can I just do that? Some of this C stuff is pretty confusing, especially when you never did that before. Okay, lmylib l. You can do this. Okay, so let me try that. Markdown SO, right? So, and then we have this thing. So it looks like this will include the current folder. No, that does not. Okay, maybe I don't longer need the -l actually. Yes, I do. Okay, what the? Maybe the order matters? No, it doesn't. Okay, libraries. Assuming Libu saw the same file. Okay, so it is -l and then just marked down without .so with this. At least it should be. Does anyone in the chat knows how the hell does C works and why is it not like my relative path things? Instead of L, blah, 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 I can say L. Yeah, so this should point to the current folder, right? And this should use the library, which it actually doesn't for whatever reason. SL minus L, yes. Minus V minus our path, my lib. Okay, I am good. So libtiers, you know what? Node-gyp. How's it called? Binding skip. Binding skip. Let's see. So the chat Strax says there is a library dir field that might help all this relative directory. So okay, this seems to be a pretty common problem. Blah 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 blah. I have the same problem, but others can no longer exist. That's not what I want to see. I added modular root dir variable for this reason. Good. Okay, so condition stuff going on. This is none. Yeah, this is not what we want. Okay, that doesn't help us much. We don't really need that anymore. Now, here's the question. Why the hell? Build release. Oh, do we have to provide, is that a path? So I can just say this instead. Am I doing this correctly? A markdown, yeah, you couldn't find L markdown, but if I say markdown as O, no. Okay. Oh, you can actually do, so this seems to be a placeholder, right? So here's the question, can I just do this? Because this, if it places the current folder name there, theoretically they should solve everything. Yeah, okay, almost there, we almost did it. There we go. Works, perfect. We actually have it working, right? So try doing a bit more complicated markdown. Yeah. Say hello world. So we get 1, 2, 3, right? Seems to be working perfectly fine. I am not sure if it's going to be actually much faster than the Node Markdown modules. Maybe, I mean, it's definitely going to be way more memory efficient, right? Because Node.js itself is quite much more memory intensive than the same Golang modules. But, you know, as I said, this is more of a demonstration of how you can do that and suffer figuring out C++ while you're doing that. But yeah, that is basically, we are done. So I don't think we need a package log here. Yeah, I think maybe I guess we can ignore the release folder, like the build folder completely, right? Because you would have to build it in this case for each platform that's built. Yeah, because I mean, right now we're building it for Mac because I'm on Mac, but if you're running it, for example, on Linux with Go on Linux, you would have to rebuild it and test it with your own setup, right? So that won't work. And the same goes for Windows. The cool thing about the whole setup is that actually, since we're using Go, it will all of this code, theoretically, if you have all the compilers ready, will work equally on Mac, Windows, and Linux without any problems, theoretically. At least theoretically. I mean, I'm guessing there will be some like edge cases and minor issues. Okay, yeah. Basic version using, what did we use? The Black Friday module. So while I'm preparing all of that and pushing it to the GitHub, feel free to write your questions to the chat. As usual, module. If there are no questions within the next, I don't know, 5 minutes, whatever it take me to actually push that to GitHub, we can wrap this stream up. I mean, they've been okay. So we did it in an hour, and most of the time I just suffered with C++. I'm guessing if I knew C++ better, that all of that would be way faster. But, you know. Okay, Node Black Friday. Yes, let's call it Node Black Friday example. Example of using Golang Black Friday module or library, I guess, from Node.js. Okay, we can do this. We need a README file, right? README. So we can add you, yes. Okay, so far no questions. So I guess, you know, it's either you understand everything or you don't understand anything, which is fine as well. It's like, it took me some time to figure all of that stuff first time too. So, you know, take your time, play around with it, break it, and yeah, just have fun with it, because why the hell not? Okay, raw, copy that stuff here. Node.js, native addons, demo using Golang library. This is a tutorial on creating a basic Node.js native add-on using Golang library. Black Friday. Yeah, okay, we need to clean that stuff. Just for, I will have to think about that. That's too hard right now. This small video showing how to create a simple native Node.js add-on using Golang library. Okay, related links. So we have Golang, we have native Node.js add-ons. Should probably remove that, and we have Black Friday, right? I think that's it. Did we use anything else in here? We had Go, we had node-gyp. Yeah, I think that's basically it. That's okay. So C Golang. I guess C-Go might be C-Go. This, okay. Native node apps. Now we're gonna copy this link and Black Friday. Blah blah blah. There you go. I mean, it would be cool if, you know, you guys like the idea and someone would create the bindings for like Blev or the what was the, I mean, I can what was the name of it? The Golang image resizing, content aware image resizing thing. Come on, where's the Golang? They should have it here by the language this week. It is so hard to find stuff here. Come on, GitHub. Thing, no. Or where's my Go? There you go. Language all best most stars, no. There was the Golang trending. GitHub. There was a list of trending libraries on GitHub. It's just like, how the hell do you navigate there from the homepage? Kyrie, right? There you go. Would be really cool to have Kyrie, for example, for Node.js, where you could just, call the Golang library. But as I said, this basically involves taking the image from nodes, converting it to the buffer, then converting the buffer internally to C++ for it to understand, then passing that C++ buffer to Go, and converting it from C++ buffer to Go buffer, then converting it to Go image. I believe this uses the Go images under the hood. I don't know. They actually used to be command line only, but I think they use Go images here. Okay, no, this is not what we want. I think it's a process, right? Resize. Yeah, they use the image here from Go, so you need to convert the buffer to image, then pass it in the resize function, then get back the result, which is probably image again, yes, and convert it to buffer, return it to C, then convert that C buffer to node buffer, and then return it to node process. Which, I mean, it's actually really cool if you think about it, but I don't think my knowledge of C++ would be sufficient to pull that off, at least within one live stream. It's probably if I sit down and just Google properly, I most likely can do that within like a couple of days. But man, that's a tricky topic, but really cool nonetheless. Okay, add basic readme, and I think we are basically set, right? Build. Come on. For some reason, the repository is considered to be C++ only. I mean, there's 40% of C++. It's like, I guess header files are what says that it's C++. There isn't some. Oh, it's okay. I guess the gyp is Python bit. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes those things don't really make a lot of sense, but it seems to be working. Okay, so let me watch that. There you go. Okay, code is now under here. Go, and yeah, unless you guys have any questions or you have any, again, suggestions, ideas, whatever, I guess we can close this. I would need to link the live stream and the recap video later on. That seems to be it. Yeah, unless you have anything you want to guys discuss, I would suggest we wrap the stream up. If I'm looking right side, I'm looking at the chat. This is where my chat is. Okay, let's see. You know what? I'm really curious what's going to be the next topic, for example. We got CSS regression test and image processing in Node.js. That might be interesting. Both of those are pretty tricky. So regression testing, I guess that implies like comparison, visual comparison. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that might be fun. And image processing. I mean, there was OpenCV bindings for Node.js, so that might be fun to do. But we'll see what's going to be highest voted by the next Tuesday, as usual. All right. Any questions? Any stuff you guys want to discuss? Maybe some news you want to talk about? I mean, I have time, so we can do some other stuff. We don't necessarily have to do more programming here, so I'm going to close that. We are good on this part. Okay, doesn't seem like this is the case, so I hope you found at least something useful within this live stream. And if you have some questions or something wasn't clear, feel free to poke me on Discord chat that we have as usual. There will be, as usual, again, a recap video sometime closer to the end of the week. I don't really think I'm going to talk more than basically what I did here. So aside from that, I'm not going to be suffering through the whole video trying to find the C conversions for the, char pointers and all that stuff. But yeah, that was that went way better than I expected it to be. Again, mostly because I am not very proficient in C++. But as you can see, you can do a native module, native add-on, even if you don't know C++ that well, by just looking up the answers, which is why internet is pretty awesome. Looks like there are no questions, so thank you for watching, and as usual, I see you next week or in the next video, wherever you watch me. Bye!